Okay, welcome back into another episode, Christos Chabalaw Show, the Spaceman 2.0, here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of the truth, and the truth will set you free. So I'm going to get back into a little bit of how the Phoenix Journals are a great inspiration, help me, inspire me to such great heights, actually, in certain terms of spiritual understandings. And with that being said, I just can't get away from teaching certain aspects that are on the tree of life that correspond archetypally with what's being read to you in the Phoenix Journals. So with the Phoenix Operator Owner Manual, helping you understand your personal responsibility and what you should be calling on in terms of your daily prayer. And with that being said, let's just read a little bit about what your daily prayer should be, and I'm going to go into it, how it goes into the tree of life, and I'm going to finish off this chapter, which is one of the wonderful expressions, understandings of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to go over 3 paragraphs, and then I'm going to get into a simple prayer that you can do to banish all negative energies and how to invoke God's protection within you in an archetypal way, dealing with the tree of life. So, you must now think and reason, dear ones. How can you maintain your life in harmony and balance with the rest of the creation? You begin with the pure desire to know truth. In order to come into knowing, you must recognize that your conscious, altered ego is limited in its perception of truth, and that God knows the best way and the path for you in His service. So you must then surrender your will to that which is God's will. So illustrating this tarot card, the Hangman, which is the 11th card on the Tree of Life, and right in the middle of the 22 paths, but it's hanging from a Tau cross, and it forms a cross there, and an upside down triangle, forming the Philosopher's Stone. He has a light around his head, considering his enlightenment, understanding the concept of alchemy, or extracting the quintessence from the elements, from the 4 directions, which places him right in the now. In your daily prayer, you must ask God for the loving light of protection, guidance, power, wisdom, knowledge, truth, integrity, and courage in order to best serve His will and not your will. That's what that card's all about. Then, dear ones, you must wait upon the Father to give you that which you need to sustain in His service. That's you having patience, waiting upon the tree. Waiting upon the tree, waiting upon the tree. That's this path right here. Mem, it's a little bit blurry. Do you see? Your will and His will must become one again. For you ones who now see the truth and find your cup is full of the knowledge and wisdom given of the Father, you now also have the responsibility to pass the cup on to your brethren who will accept it. You will find that for you to move on in your service, the cup must be passed. You therefore cannot hold it onto yourself, for it is full and must be emptied to again become full. You cannot sprinkle it haphazardly on all who come in your presence. It must be passed, and it must be accepted by the choice of each one. It is not your responsibility to try to give the cup where it is not accepted. You pass the cup, the ones will refuse, and ones will accept. But it is not your concern who does and who doesn't accept. Your responsibility is to pass the cup to those who accept and release the outcome to God, who exists within each. So too, those who accept the cup of knowledge and wisdom and drink of the truth will be nurtured and filled with the joy of truth, and then they will pass their cup as well. All will be given opportunities to take the cup, if not from you, then from another. It is yours to offer it to them and wait upon the Lord. Your cup will again be filled, and you will again pass it on, and in this way will you serve the Father who is within all. So again, to illustrate, this is you waiting upon the Lord for the extraction of the quintessence, the knowledge, the wisdom, to drip into the vessel, which is an upside down triangle, which is what? The form of a cup, a vessel, for the enlightenment, the understanding to be presented to you in the stillness of mind, in knowing in the now. So this card is dealing with surrender your will to God's will. Remember, your will must become one again with his. And having faith and understanding that by waiting patiently, without thinking and continuously thinking and harboring on what you're waiting for, that means to let it go. Surrender it is to let it go. So to help illustrate some of these words here, the creation, okay, we have God within the laws of balance of God in the creation. And what is God's will? You can understand the tree of life a little bit better, where God is considered in this part, number one, the focus of all of the energy of the universe or of creation itself, which is the creation. The three lines above, which can be considered the limitless light, the unlimited light, I went over this, which is the creation, which is that which surrounds everything. And I'll go into the 50 gates and the 49 steps and the 7 times 7 years of the creation, and where in which placement are we in understanding the 50 gates. That's the 7 levels, or up to Binah, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 7 is 49, and the last one, you cross the abyss, which is Dath. And that's what I have to explain and going over, that love is the truth. This is the Lover's card, and this is the Emperor, which is will. Love under will. Love is the law, in a sense. Ahaya, Yod He Vohe, and then Jaja Ahava. You got Jaja and Jehovah, or even Ahava right there, which is my will is love. I am God, Ahaya. I am God. Yod He Vohe. Jaja Ahava. My will is love. So with that being said, back to the Phoenix Journals and how these words down here, protection, guidance, power, wisdom, can all be contained on the Tree of Life in a wonderful prayer, and what I'd like to share with you, what I do each and every day, sometimes once, sometimes 10, sometimes 1,000, and sometimes I do forget because I am human or I get caught up with other stuff. So here's what I say to banish all negative energies. In the name of God, the creation, and the Christos. And here you have here, in the name of God, the creation, and the Christos, because Christ and God are one. We already went over that. I command and demand that all negative energies cease to exist in my holy space, now and always. So if you say that 1,000 times a day, it may help you. And then I invoke God's love and light by, I call forth and invoke God's holy sword and shield of light, wisdom, power, integrity, courage, love, guidance, knowledge, truth, and protection to be within me, around me, now and always. So be it. Amen. And you let it go to God. In the next episode, we'll break this down even further, but when you say amen, you're letting it go to God, like the hangman says, and noon means fish, or letting it go, sacrifice, resurrection of the truth. And with that being said, the truth will set you free, the Spaceman 2.0. Hope you find this inspiring, and also help you understand the truth. And I'm out.